say, where the take shape, thoughts find depth, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest, focus and attention expert and strategies researcher, none other than Miss Concetta Cucchiarelli.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome, Miss Concetta. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yes. Thank you, Daniel, for having me. First of all, I am Concetta Cucchiarelli, and I'm an attention and focus strategist and a researcher about within the same field. So I've been doing this for quite a long time now, and I'm here with you to talk about a bit of focus and attention.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. Thank you, Miss Concetta. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. And today let's talk about your latest workbook, My Focus Gym Workbook. What is all about?
So this is a workbook that basically started from like putting all the knowledge that I developed during all my workshops, the workshop that I've been giving for let's say almost 6 years. And I said maybe this knowledge can be useful also for people when they work alone instead of working with me in a workshop environment or a classroom. It can be something that everyone can use every time they work on their own tasks, on their own work. So it's, I also call it like a personal companion, because actually it's something that you don't have to learn and then apply, but it's something that you learn by applying and by working on your own stuff, being guided by the workbook. So basically, you work on your own stuff, you work on your own tasks, like writing your newsletter or writing your new script for the new podcast episode. But also be guided by this workbook. And by the end of the session, you start learning and applying a strategy to get more focus and pay more attention. And
Yes.
yeah, that's the basic.
Yes. So, what is the central misconception about focus that most people have, and why does your workbook fundamentally challenge or redefine it?
Yes. There is, first of all, one misconception that is the biggest one, is that in order to be focused, we need to remove distractions. And we always say, like, isolate yourself, cut off everything that can be damaging for your focus. But in my research, I realized and I discovered that actually the first element that we need to have, like the first, um, yeah, the most important thing is that we have to feel safe before being focused on something, and how we where safety comes from. And that's the most important part, because actually when we remove everything around us, we start removing all the possible distractions, then we start perceiving a lack of information. So we move our focus on the fact that we miss some information instead of focusing on something that we are doing. So ideally, what we want to do, and it's the central part of this workbook, is learn how to deal with distractions instead of removing them. So instead of removing them, we want to leverage them. This is the most important part.
Leverage them. I like that. Miss Conchita. I love it. So, why structure as a gym and a workbook? What does a metaphor of training mental muscle reveal about focus and simply reading about it does not?
Yes. So, what we actually focus is really like everything else, you learn by doing it. And usually, when we are super interested in something, when we are very engaged, when we are very enthusiastic or motivated, focus is something that comes automatically. It's really, you don't have to think about it. But the point is that is when you have to work on something that you are not so motivated, not so interested, not so um, enthusiastic. So there we want to have a strategy, because otherwise, by default, we get distracted, when regardless the distractions we have around us or in our mind. We really struggle with that. So, what I want to give is like a strategy, a set of steps that you can follow so that you can train your focus. And usually, focus has, as everything, like everything else, has different steps, but the most important ones are three. The first one is getting ready. The second one is like the real work of staying focused on something. And the third one, you want to log off properly. Otherwise, you don't have space for something new, and you don't have space not even for what you've just done.
And in an age of infinite distraction, Ms. Concita, is a goal of your program to build a stronger willpower, or to redesign our environment and habits so that willpower become less necessary?
Yes. So, like, what I do in this, what I train people to do is not to focus on just one thing, because, like, one of the most important way we have to think about focus is like a system, like a behavior that is the result of a number of elements. It's a complex result that we get from different things. And like a simple habit is not enough. Willpower is not enough. But if you put them together, then you create a strong system where, if you start like in a proper way, and if you guarantee that everything is there, then focus, it's natural, it's the most obvious thing that can happen. So basically, you want to work on all these things. You, of course, you don't want to push yourself with willpower, but for sure, knowing also why you want to do something, why it's important for you, and why this is relevant for the person you want to become, that's a huge part of like building and training your focus.
Ms. Concita, walk us through the anatomy of a typical week in a focused gym. What is the balance between fundamental or foundational theory, daily exercise, and weekly integration?
Yes. So there are two level of training. Basically, the training is every day. So every day you have, for example, you want to, let's say, write a newsletter issue. So you open your workbook and you start following the structure of the session. So you really have some steps like defining the task, and not in the way that we are used to, meaning the smallest one, but there is a specific way to define the task so that it's so clear that you really have it almost visible, and so that you can work on it. And you have the distraction management system, and you have the way you want to log off once the session is ended. But then you have a second layer, which is the weekly layer. And what I want to do in 4 week is let you understand and discover your own strategy, because every one of us has a different strategy. So some elements work better than others, and these elements are not just like the environment that we have around. So, for example, the desk, how clean is it, how tidy is it, but it's a lot of elements that you want to pay attention to figure out why, when you can focus, it's so easy, and why you cannot, when you cannot focus, it's so difficult. So you have different levels that you want to address day by day and week by week. And the structure is that during the first week, you want to understand what usually doesn't work. The second week is what usually work. In the third week, you are going to adjust every day. You are going to substitute, actually, replace what doesn't work with what work in every level of the strategy. And the last week is just to reinforce and repeat and fine tuning your golden strategy.
Golden strategy. I like that, Miss Concita. The workbook format implies active writing and tracking. What is about a physical act of writing things down in this context that creates change versus using a digital app?
Yes, this is a super good question. And actually, I have like the paper version and the digital version. But I noticed that first of all, when something is digital, is difficult to remember we have it as a tool, unless for some random reason you really get engaged in using this kind of stuff. But usually digital is not visible, not tangible, so it's difficult to put it, to make it become part of your workflow. And actually, I've seen, and this is very important also because we are in an AI age and everything is digital. The more the fact that you write down something, like the very action of writing down, help you understand and also fix in your mind what you're writing and what you've discovered. I really believe in writing because it's a huge part of the learning process. And when we can write, a huge part of the learning process is happening right when you're writing. So it's good for sure to train your focus, also the digital version, but the physical version really imply a deeper level of of learning and of like digesting really and integrate the strategies.
Let's talk about the science and application. What a key neuroscience or psychological principles is this program built upon?
This is interesting because actually is built on many things, I will say, on one end, but also nothing on the other end. Because when I started writing this and also researching about this framework, I was looking for something different from what was already there. So for sure, it can remind something like building habits, but I wouldn't say it's building an habit, but it's more building an awareness about what we are doing. Because what happens with habits, that sometimes they become, when they work, they become so automatic that we don't even remember why we are doing something. So the very one of the goal of this workbook is makes you even more aware about how you work, so that you not only can use it, but also you can tweak it and change it as long as like because of course also the way we focus changes by like the changes with the age, with the life stage, and with a lot of things that change in our life. So we want to stay flexible instead of building something that is automatic. And another thing is that I try to build this workbook before before taking into account all the emotional side. So for example, we say you cannot focus because you are a procrastinator, because you fear the task that you have to address, because we think about a lot of emotional stuff, while for me it's really going back to the basic, to the way we, like, when we approach something, we have a clear recipe, what I'm going to do first, what I'm going to do for the second step and the third step. And usually we don't think in that terms. We think more in terms of, oh, let me think why, for example, I could be afraid of this task. I could be. So there is some, maybe, like, for sure there is central in this this workbook, the idea of our perception of reality and world in terms of different layers, where there is the environment, there is the behavior, there is the capability, there is our identity, and also uh, going up until the spiritual level, where there is our biggest why, our biggest meaning. So this is mainly what is at the basic of the workshop, the workbook.
The biggest why. Why? Miss Concetta, as an author, focusing attention expert in strategies as well as a researcher, what are your short term and long term goals?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes, what are your short term and long term goals?
Well, first of all, I want to help people understand, like, the importance of being able to focus, because I always say that, like, what we pay attention to, it's our, like, what we see, like, our world is made of what we can pay attention to, and what we focus on is what we nurture. So actually, it's not just getting things done. It's not really just related to productivity, but it's actually the world that we create, and also the thing that matters to us. And the more we lose this ability to be focused, be pay attention, and the more, like, our world become less richer and less connected. So that's really why I want to help people improve their focus. And in the future, I mean, I'm already doing it. I want to build a research center where people can learn and people can also study human intelligence, where we can really understand more about our intelligence now that we also have artificial intelligence, but putting together researcher and experts from different fields, so that we can think together instead of in different silos, because we know a lot of things but they're really separated in different silos, and we cannot really build something, like, interesting, like disruptive, if we keep working in different and separated sections.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Concetta, and looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
Oh, well, just work with my workbook, of course, because there you can understand a lot of how you work. And well, more than that, um, just be present, like, think about focus also as a way to be more present in your life and with people in relationship, because by being present we can, like, create, like, beautiful things.
Well, thank you for that advice, Miss Concita. And can you please recommend a book or books to influence your journey?
Sorry, can I recommend?
Yes, please. A book or books that influence your journey.
Oh, so one book that like I think Meditation for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. Uh, that was amazing because actually makes you understand the way we relate with the idea of time, and like it helps you really understand the value of time, but also the idea that the fact that it's limited can also be a value instead of something that can like makes you feel more anxious or more hurry about everything. So that was really really helpful. And another one that is more related to like it was more a children book is Alice in Wonderland, which seems to be weird, but actually it really helps you understand how logic work and how words work. And that really helped me understand a lot of things and think in terms of like 360-degree way, especially when we try to explain and understand the phenomenon.
Well, Miss Concita, thank you for the recommended books. Thank you. So there is a countless focus hacks and apps out there. What it makes these workbook based a 4-week program uniquely effective where others fall short?
Well, it's based on my framework that is called sustainable focus, and I think that that's the real difference. Is that we don't want to get better at focusing or at paying attention just by forcing ourselves and hope and wait for impossible results, but we want to build a system that is sustainable, first of all, for our nervous system, and also something that is aligned with our capability, with our ability, our behavior, our identity. It has to be a system where, while other tools, for example, or other theories, especially in the focus environment, are more related to the cognitive aspects. So for sure, the cognitive aspect is one, but it's not the only. So you really want to work on the whole system so that you can align actually what you do, what you are, and so on. So it's more the sustainability, the fact that you want to be focused, but also respect the way we learn, the way we pay attention, the way we focus on something. Pay attention and be and have care of also the preparation and the logging off, because and especially the resting part, because many things that are related to focus are focused on the focus process in itself, so the activity of staying focused on something, but this is also focused on what comes first and what follows, so that your mind and your brain can also integrate everything that just learned or just did, and so that you can create new connections, create new ideas, and free up space for what you want to do next.
Thank you for that empowering answer, Ms. Concita. But before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in second season. My book 101 review. is coming sixth season next year. Comedy 101 third season. And My Food 101 is sixth season already. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101, Review Music 101 are fourth season. Science 101, Sex 101 is second season. Emma Baby Podcast, Mental Health 101, Law 101, Bible Verses 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Ms. Concita, tell us, if someone is skeptical about their ability to change, what is one small tangible result from their first week that you want to recommend?
Yes, actually, they will get a tangible result for the very first session, like the very first day, the very first 30 minutes. I gave this workbook to one of my best friend, and she is like totally not able to focus on anything, and she was so worried, and she said, no, this won't work, this won't work. And I said, just give it a chance. And after 15 minutes she was like, oh my god, I already finished something, I can do the second, can I do the second thing, can I do the second thing? She was like very very, because I promise you that if you follow step by step, in half an hour you can already see that it's like focus is so natural that you cannot believe really.
Unnatural indeed. And thank you so much for sharing your workbook to the world, Miss Conchita. Thank you. And can you please invite our listeners to support your workbook, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yes, yes. If they go on my website, which is sustainablefocus.co, they can find everything how to work with me, because we can work also together remotely, and they find also the way to buy the workbook. Exactly, there is a link and it's available on Amazon, and there they can find also the different um, like appointments that I almost every month I have with people, so that we can practice online and also in person.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Concita, because if you support, for sure, more and more empowering workbooks will rise. And Miss Concita, one more question. How does the program build in sustainability? What's the plan for after 4 weeks to prevent backsliding into the old habits?
Yes, that's a good question. After the workbook, there is a planner, which is simply just template pages with exactly the same structure. So when you have your own golden strategy, then you have your daily guide, and you can do it again like by writing down, or you have it digital, or it's also audio, so you have a voice guiding you through the steps. But I really, really recommend you using this every day, especially for the most difficult things, most difficult tasks. And once you start, it's something that really sticks in your mind. So you will remember how to do it.
You will remember for sure. So, Miss Concita, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Mordicon people, see you soon. Bountiful New Year to everyone.